at the Mastercard booth at the Global Fintech Festival, talking to their top team, Gautam Agarwal and Sandeep Malhotra, with us today on this special episode. And so great to speak with you guys. You know, just the vibe right now of GFF is so exciting, and I know, Gautam, let me begin with you, that one big part of the focus this time round is on inclusion and the push towards Viksit Bharat. How exactly is Mastercard going to be part of that journey?
Thanks for a great question. So, Viksit Bharat will not happen if anything that is done in India today from a technology perspective is not on a scale to be inclusive. So for us, our focus has been to basically do that. What we have done from a technology perspective, we have moved away from just having physical cards, right? We've gone into doing tokenization of the cards using QR codes. We have now what is called a SSoundbox that will enable choice. So that means it's inclusive in terms of who can pay, what payment methods can be used. We also have low cost acceptance solutions. So that's all solutions and products that Mastercard does. So we have a few programs going on in India. We have a program called Strive India, under which we are targeting to get to about 1 million small business enterprises, focused on women, focused on farmers, craftsmen. We can help them be more in the digital ecosystem of the country, if you will. There is something called the Mandeshi Foundation. It's a partner that we have. Through them, we have a program called the Rural Women Chambers of Commerce. It's a program through which we've got 20,000 women within the state of Maharashtra to be able to come and sell their crafts. And through that program, 5,000 loans have been given out between these 25,000 women. And more importantly, what we've seen is 90 to 100% return rates on these loans. So what is happening now is we have data on these women that we can now use to give them real targeted credit in the future through the to the traditional ways of lending. The second program I want to talk about is this thing called Farmer Pass. Farm Pass is a program through which we are basically creating a sort of marketplace where farmers can actually go sell their produce, but also buy their input. What we have seen since we've launched about 2 years ago, we have about 2.5 million farmers on this program, and we have had about 25 across 25 districts of India, around eight states. There's a recent one that we've launched in partnership with Airtel. It's a program where women, rural women, are being empowered to become what we're calling it Sahelis, right? So these are business correspondents. So these rural women are going to the other women in villages and educating them about digital tools and digital literacy, and telling them how they can use these tools to actually improve their livelihood. And this is a program in partnership with Airtel, and she leads Bharat ODM program that we have. We're trying to get to about 100,000 women through this program to become business correspondents. Early signs indicate that we're able to increase the earning potential of women by 2 to 3 times when they become these business correspondents.
Sandeep, let me come to you on the product side. So a couple of things which have come to the front end, which you guys are doing at GFF. The SSoundbox is one of them, the wearables is one of them. Let me come to the SSoundbox bit. Now, this is something that we have seen across India spread very quickly, and as a solution to language barriers or digital capabilities, it's been fantastic. What value add is going to come from your side to this technology?
So first of all, SSoundbox is all a low-cost acceptance device, right? How do you make electronic transactions happen instead of doing cash, right? So it's a part of the whole digitization journey. And SSoundbox traditionally used to do, you scan and then you pay and you go. And what we are saying is we want to give consumer a choice in terms of they want to scan or tap or even dip your payment instrument. That choice comes into picture with the added benefit of ₹100 प्राप्त हुए, right? So it just announces while the small business is making tea or coffee to basically tell them you got your money, and then the consumer chose whether they did dip, scan or a tap, right? So that's what's happening in a very low cost acceptance way, and I think this is going to scale in India and beyond.
What is the size of the market you see for SSoundbox in India?
Very large. I mean, you look at any micro merchant or small merchant, they will get a SSoundbox. It's just as a given.
So I think this is where the SSoundbox that we're launching is a bit unique, right? It enables the QR payment that is happening today in the market, but it also enables contactless. So now the SSoundbox will actually accept contactless transaction, whether it's a wearable, a watch, a ring, whatever, or your card. In fact, we have stickers also in many markets where you can actually have a sticker on the back of your phone where you can just tap that, if you don't want to have a phone loaded into your, a card loaded into your phone. So to us, the Soundbox is meant to be this, Sandeep talked about this word choice. It's all, to me, that word inclusion comes back. It's almost an on-inclusive approach, right? Any payment method for any kind of a consumer, for any kind of a merchant is what the Soundbox is going to enable.
So you cut out that one extra step. And in terms of the impact of UPI overall on the cards business, just wanted to get your view on that, Gautam, because UPI revolutionized things in a lot of ways, but then also put a big question mark on how do you make money off that digital transaction, right? And it's something a lot of Indian fintechs are also facing. So I just wanted to get your perspective on that.
What UPI has done to India is basically got people who were using only cash into the digital payment ecosystem, right? What UPI has done, it's educated consumers, merchants, everybody to understand the benefits of digital payments and what it gives you. And now with that, when people are becoming more educated and they're becoming smarter, they're making the right choices based on, and we're already seeing that, right? A certain transaction goes on UPI, a certain kind of transaction goes on cards, a certain transaction goes on an EFT or an RTGS. And I think that's where the future of payments is going to be in this country.
And I would say what UPI has done is fantastic. I think they've created this financial literacy. So the financial literacy automatically happened as a result of this digitization movement without basically anybody going to a school or reading a book.
And how do wearables fit into all of this as payments? I mean, I think fairly new, even worldwide. Some of it is happening with Apple Watches, etc.
So I use it a lot.
Yeah, but I know you're partnering with Boat on that. How do you see that fitting into the Indian ecosystem, which is also very cost sensitive?
First of all, our focus is every device is a commerce device, right? So we're saying whether it's your phone, your watch, where your ring or your any other wearable, even your earring could actually make a payment if you would like, So the whole idea is that you can bring that particular device close to where the merchant's terminal is, and then you can tap and the transaction will happen. And the way it works is it's very, very secure because we tokenize that transaction. So it's not really the real payment credential. It's an alias of that, which gets stored. It is tied to the device. And then basically we create very, very unique identifier per transaction when the transaction happens. So it's ultra secure. And that's where we're saying, okay, choice to the consumer. Any form factor you use, whether you want to tap your phone, your watch, your earring, or your ring, that will happen. And that trend is increasing big time.
What happens to the physical card, which in a lot of parts of the world has become redundant? I mean, that idea of plastic. What happens to that in India? Where do you see that going?
So I think the physical card may lose its relevance in that sort. It'll become a little bit of a backup. I can totally see that. But the underlying technology that either a physical card uses or what these devices use is going to remain. That's perennial. And I think the future of payments, of card payments, will lie in a way that anything, and Sandeep said any payment device, any device is a payment device. I think anything that is connected is able to be connected to the internet or some kind of a network will be able to just make a payment, and you will not even, it's only a subconscious. You won't even know that you did it. As commerce becomes part of your subconscious, payment becomes a part of your subconscious, there will have to be the right security controls, right? We are already, as Mastercard, we've already invested in technology which basically does velocity checks, right? So if we see today, right, if a particular card is doing 10 transactions in 5 minutes at a particular vendor, at a particular merchant, we know that potentially it's fraud, right? You are not going to swipe your card 10 times or tap your phone 10 times. I think we're already on that journey. So I'm not worried about the fact that if this becomes part of your subconscious, what happens to your background? I think it'll all be secure.
So what we're trying to do is, as technology changes, the one thing which is not changing is the trust between the consumer, the merchant, and the other ecosystem stakeholder. We want to maintain that trust. It takes eons to build that trust, and it takes 1 second to ruin it. So we're building that trust-based ecosystem, and then trying to basically create safe, simple, and smart kind of payment solutions which work seamlessly around the world in any situation.
Yeah. Now, so coming to the India part of it, and obviously we've spoken about a lot of ideas that are global now coming into India, but from an India perspective and how Mastercard sees it, in a country where I would say digital financial payments and the digital transformation has been so rapid, and it's a bit of surprise for a lot of the world, the speed with which we have grown forward. Where does Mastercard see itself in that ecosystem and its view on its India plans? So
India is a very important country for us from an investment perspective because India has talent, and more importantly, a lot of innovation is going on in the country, right? You can't forget that. In fact, you said earlier that we learned a lot from the West. I would say now India is creating the playbook when it comes to growth in digital payments. So there's a lot India can take to the other parts of the world. That's exactly why passkeys. India, by the way, is the first country that we're launching passkeys in for that reason. India is, at the end of the day, almost 20% of the world's population. If you want to be a company that is moving in this space, you have to give India its credit.
And what's the proposition to merchants then? Because at the end of the day, at one part, of course, you're speaking to the end consumer in the form of your cards and they see your logo everywhere. But what's the proposition to merchants who have now all of these options to accept payments, right?
So we have seen that typically merchants end up seeing revenue growth. In the modern world where digital payments come with the security risk that you were talking about, they want a more secure, a more trusted way of getting payments. So I think if you're a merchant who cares about growing your business, you want to make sure that your digital payments is safe and secure, you're going to have a preference for one payment type versus the other. So in many ways, whether it's Mastercard or other digital payment players that are out there, we are trying to create that trust in the ecosystem.
The whole digitization, right? I mean, the digitization is happening everywhere. Cash is too expensive, and it has its own shortcomings. Right? So,
thank you so much for this conversation and great insight into how Mastercard views the India story and the India payment story as well. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much.
It's time for a short break, but stay tuned for more from the Global Fintech Fest.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps.
And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps.
And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter.
And impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
To the seat of power, Delhi.
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from
According to a recent survey by PhonePe and Boston Consulting Group, digital payments in India are projected to reach $10 trillion by 2026. As the scope of the business rises, so does the risk associated with cyber fraud. Authentication system for safer and smarter digital payments in India. Since its inception in 2020, the Global Fintech Fest has become a quintessential conference for the global fintech ecosystem, fostering collaboration and shaping the future of the industry. The Global Fintech Fest is not just another big-scale conference, but a catalyst for change in the fintech ecosystem. From showcasing cutting-edge fintech innovations at an expansive expo to facilitating investment pitches, workshops, and hackathons, the Global Fintech Fest drives meaningful dialogues and actions in the fintech space. And one such session was hosted on advancing banking and payments technology, preparing for the future with Gautam Agarwal, Division President, South Asia, Mastercard.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure and privilege to be part of this session today. I got a very esteemed group of panelists to have the conversation on advancing banking and payments technology. From not having a single core in many cases, the banks have gone into core banking and now are talking about hollowing the core and probably a dual core kind of systems. From people coming to branches, we have now come to branches who are coming to people, whether through apps, phones, and such. From using rules for decision making, we have now moved to AI-driven models, probably moving on to LLM-driven models as well going forward. From ATMs, figuring out how many ATMs we want to launch, we have now completely moved to UPI as this whole journey takes. So my first question really to set the stage is, how have the business priorities evolved? Right? So there have been certain priorities which have forced you as a business leader to make some choices. Your opening thoughts on that?
So I'm going to take a bit of a payment lens on this, fintech lens as a network. So for us, when I think of our journey, the focus was on innovating and educating consumers and merchants and others alike about, digital payments. We have already crossed that hump in this country. People are getting, educated. So for us now it is, how do we move from access to actually educating them on how to use these tools, right? So just because the tool exists is not enough. There's a lot of fraud happening. People don't know, what to do with those OTPs, pins that come through. So there's a lot of education that needs to be done, a lot of literacy, digital literacy as we are calling it. Alongside, creating trust. I think by Prashantji talked about attacks, fraud attacks happening. So cybersecurity for us is a big centerpiece. We're seeing a lot of trends that suggest that we need to focus on that, and therefore related to that is inclusion. So the fact is that digital payments still, any form today in the country, are still centered around the urban sectors of the country. We still have a big portion of this country that sits in the tier 2, tier 3 cities and villages, and we have to make sure that they are comfortable adopting these technologies. So the technologies themselves exist, but are they actually using them? Do they understand how to use them? Are they comfortable using them? Do they trust these technologies? That's been sort of our focus and shift, if you will. So the way we are looking at investments at Mastercard, so the principles that we have used at Mastercard, really around 5 things when it comes to technology. One, we have to do something that enables choice, whether it's consumer choice, merchant choice, anybody else. I think that's what Sandeep touched upon earlier, the example that he gave with their gateway product. We have a similar gateway product, MPGS, that allows us to do that, right? So choice is very important. The other thing for our second principle we have is integrated experiences, right? So if you think about it, even with the plastic, you had to dip, you had to, swipe. Then we've moved to tap now. But that process also is a process. We're moving to wearables now. Wearables will make it almost like in your subconscious. You will just walk. You will not be actually making that transaction, in that sense. You won't be doing something. It'll just happen, right? So that is integration, right? So for us, that is that next journey, if you will. Then the third thing, of course, is real time. Given the example that I gave, everything has to happen real time. Gone are the days when you would talk about this thing being near real time also, for that matter, right? So anything that we do today has to be some sort of real time. And the fourth thing is, Prashantji talked about it earlier, the way transactions are scaling, whether it's in India or anywhere else in the world, you have to set your operations such that it can scale well. If operations won't scale, again, inclusive and all of that, it just won't work. And the last piece is transparent, right? Systems have to be transparent. Whether it's a consumer, a merchant, bank partners, everybody has become very smart. They know exactly what's the price point they're getting, what's the value they're getting for the price point that they have. They're looking for reports, they're looking for analysis, all of that done. So using AI and other things to do the right reporting and bringing the right transparency in the system is sort of important. So I think, to me, those principles are what we are applying when we're making technology investments.
That was a fascinating round of conversation all around.
We should give a huge round of applause. Thank you so much for sharing this knowledgeful insight with us. That was a lovely session.
As digital frauds and cyber financial scams are becoming increasingly common in India, in order to combat them, Mastercard launched its Payment Passkeep service and enhanced biometric authentication at this year's GFF. Demonstrating it is Jon Lambert, Mastercard's Chief Product Officer.
And it has sent a message to ICICI that the payment is valid.
So at Mastercard, we've taken a goal to digitally empower 1 billion citizens and 50 million small businesses and connect them to the digital economy by 2025. There are 3 areas that we're really focusing on. One is women entrepreneurs, the second is farmers, and the third is small businesses. And we do this through 2 ways. One, through working with partnerships to drive digital literacy and providing technical know-how to get these people digitally empowered and more financially savvy. The second is through building our own tech platforms like Farm Pass and Community Pass, which can then digitally enable farmers, for example, to digitally buy and sell produce through a digital marketplace. So I think the DPI story in India is actually second to none worldwide. And what the government's done with the Jam Trinity, with Aadhaar and identity, with UPI, with banking and payments, that is actually a very fundamental foundation upon which networks like us and fintechs can then start to innovate around it. So the catalyst of growth is really the DPI ecosystem that actually is in place. So we're very grateful for the government's efforts, and we are partnering with the government as well as the regulator in various forms to actually be able to leverage the DPI that's been created to drive greater digitization.
Another important launch at the GFF was the payment wearables by Mastercard in collaboration with Boat. India's leading wearables brand. Through this, cardholders will be able to tokenize their existing Mastercard debit and credit cards for all supported banks and enable tap and pay functionality on their boAt smartwatches.
So boAt is very proud of this partnership. I think we are the first Indian brand to do tokenization on the card and on the app. The partnership goes a long way in terms of bringing, technology at a price which has not been available to the Indian audience. So, we're very, very proud of it and very, very thankful to Mastercard for having boAt as their partner on this initiative. Over a period of time, right, if you've seen the adoption of digital payments has grown very, very massively. And I think, contactless payment is going to be the future, where you're talking about buses, metros, coffee shop, right? You don't want to pull out your phone, scan anything. So anything under 5,000, I think this is the way to go. And I think that market will keep growing.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
And impact your life. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
from Maximum City, Mumbai,
To the seat of power, Delhi.
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital, Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
And impact your life. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
from Maximum City, Mumbai,
To the seat of power, Delhi.
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
A major encounter between security forces and terrorists in the Bani area of Jammu and Kashmir's Katwa district. The second such encounter in Katwa in just 3 days. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's political bombshell. He says he will resign in the next 2 days. He says early polls should be held in the month of November. Another person of the Aam Aadmi Party will be made the Chief Minister, says Arvind Kejriwal. The BJP says the Chief Minister's resignation is a PR stunt. Delhi has given its verdict to the Chief Minister in the Lok Sabha poll, says the BJP, as it questions the Chief Minister. Why resign? Dissolve the government? The BJP says Kejriwal is keen on polls due to an internal revolt. Former Arjikar principal and Kolkata cop have been sent to CBI custody till 17th September in the rape and murder case for allegedly destroying evidence. A flyer's nightmare in Mumbai. An Indigo flight from Mumbai to Doha delayed. Passengers say that there's no food or water provided. Indigo says they've now been offered a 7:45 p.m. flight. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I am Vedant Agarwal. Our lead story, well, a major encounter between security forces and terrorists has broken out in the Bani area of the Kathua district of Jammu and Kashmir. Remember, this is the second such encounter in the Kathua district in just the last 3 days. Now, remember, there have been no casualties that have been reported so far, but back-to-back encounters taking place both in the valley as well as in the Jammu region, and this comes right ahead of the Lok Sabha, of the assembly polls in Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, just 2 days ahead of the crucial assembly polls in Jammu and Kashmir. So, security, of course, remains a huge challenge for the Election Commission, given the fact that we've seen back-to-back encounters. In fact, the encounter in Kishtwar killed 2 soldiers in the line of duty, so that was absolutely tragic. And this, of course, also as terrorism and militancy is really at the center of the poll discourse in Jammu and Kashmir as well. The Prime Minister says that terror is on its deathbed, terror is breathing its last in Jammu and Kashmir. But the opposition parties, particularly the National Conference and the PDP, they say that militancy is far from over, both in Jammu as well as the valley. And the other big political headline, well, Arvind Kejriwal's political bombshell. He says he will resign in the next 48 hours, paving the way for his successor to take over as the Chief Minister of the national capital. An absolutely shocking announcement. Nobody had anticipated that Arvind Kejriwal, just a day after walking free, would decide to walk out from his government. Well, remember, he's also said that it's not going to be Manish Sisodia who's going to take over the reins, and that the fate of the Chief Minister is in the hands of the people. He has called for early polls in November as well. Meanwhile, the immediate task is cut out for the Aam Aadmi Party. Arvind Kejriwal says that there will be a legislators' meet to decide on who will be the next Chief Minister. So it's going to be a crucial 48 hours for the national capital. Now, what sources are indicating is that this decision was conveyed to the senior ministers and leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party at a crucial meeting last night at former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia's residence, and the playbook was already decided before Arvind Kejriwal was released. So a major political upheaval in the national capital. The BJP says that this is nothing but a PR stunt and that Arvind Kejriwal should suspend the government and dissolve the assembly, hinting at the possibility of a president's rule. Take a look at all the reactions that have come in.
फरवरी में चुनाव है। आज इस मंच से मैं मांग करता हूं कि ये चुनाव नवंबर में कराए जाएं, महाराष्ट्र के साथ कराए जाएं, तुरंत कराए जाएं चुनाव। और जब तक आपका फैसला नहीं आएगा तब तक मैं जिम्मेदारी नहीं संभालूंगा। और मैं जब तक चुनाव नहीं होते, मैंने जैसे बताया 2 दिन के बाद मैं अपना इस्तीफा दूंगा। जब तक चुनाव नहीं होते तब तक मेरी जगह आम आदमी पार्टी से कोई और मुख्यमंत्री बनेगा। अगले 2-3 दिन के अंदर विधायक दल की मीटिंग होगी और विधायक दल की मीटिंग में अगले मुख्यमंत्री के नाम का तय किया जाएगा।
10 साल पहले अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने इस्तीफा दिया था अपने पद से और उसके बाद उन्होंने इसको अपनी गलती मान के स्वीकार किया था। अब वो फिर जो है इस्तीफा देने की बात कर रहे हैं। आपको लगता है कि कहीं गलती ना हो जाए ये?
देखिए, आज अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के इस्तीफे को समझने के लिए अरविंद केजरीवाल, द मैन अरविंद केजरीवाल, जो व्यक्ति हैं अरविंद केजरीवाल, उनको आपको समझना पड़ेगा। अरविंद केजरीवाल वो व्यक्ति हैं जो IRS का एग्ज़ाम क्लियर करके इनकम टैक्स के कमिश्नर बने। देश में लोगों का सपना होता है, और भारत में जितना भ्रष्टाचार होता है, अगर कोई एक व्यक्ति परिवार का इनकम टैक्स कमिश्नर बन जाए तो 7 पुश्तों लायक पैसा कमा लेते हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल ने इनकम टैक्स कमिश्नर की नौकरी को लात मार के दिल्ली की झुग्गियों में काम करना शुरू किया, क्योंकि वो देश में कुछ करना चाहते थे। ये वही अरविंद केजरीवाल हैं जो बिल्कुल ज़ीरो से उन्होंने आम आदमी पार्टी को खड़ा किया। क्यों? क्योंकि वो चाहते थे कि भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त राजनीति हो, और उन्होंने उसके लिए एक पार्टी को खड़ा किया। 2013 में सरकार बनाई और जब वो भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ कानून नहीं ला पाए तो सबके कहने के बावजूद उन्होंने इस्तीफा दे दिया, अपने मुख्यमंत्री की कुर्सी छोड़ दी। ये वो अरविंद केजरीवाल है। आप सोचिए उस आदमी के दिल पे क्या बीतती है जब आज उस पर भ्रष्टाचार का आरोप लगाया जाता है। सोचिए उस आदमी के दिल पे क्या बीतती है ये सोच के कि उनकी पीठ के पीछे हो सकता है दिल्ली वाले बात कर रहे हो कि क्या पता शायद अरविंद केजरीवाल ने पैसा ले लिया हो। तो आपको अरविंद केजरीवाल जो इंसान है उनको समझना पड़ेगा कि उनके लिए उनकी सबसे बड़ी पूंजी उनकी ईमानदारी है, और उसी ईमानदारी के दम पर वो आज तक यहाँ पर पहुँचे हैं, और उसी ईमानदारी के दम पे उन्होंने आज दिल्ली के लोगों को कहा है कि अगर उनको लगता है, दिल्ली के लोगों को लगता है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल ईमानदार हैं तो उनको वोट दें, लगता है कि वो बेईमान है तो वोट ना दें। आप मुझे बताइए इस देश में कोई ऐसी पार्टी है, कोई ऐसा नेता है जो हिम्मत रखता है ऐसा चैलेंज देने की? किसी भी पार्टी के किसी भी नेता में ये हिम्मत नहीं है जनता के बीच में जाके कहने की। अरविंद केजरीवाल में है।
Today we saw Kejriwal in fact announcing that he will be resigning in 48 hours, and to talk more on that we are being joined with the Delhi BJP chief Viren Sachdeva sir। आज announcement कर दी है केजरीवाल ने कि वो 48 hours में resignation देंगे और एक नया CM मिलेगा, MLAs चुन कर देंगे। इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं?
जो रिज़ाइन इनको जेल जाते समय ही देना चाहिए था, वहाँ से आने के बाद भी 48 घंटे किस लिए चाहिए? 48 घंटे किस लिए चाहिए? या तो माता सुनीता के लिए माहौल बनाना है